They don't have any real flag.
Who's that? But I'm not sure if she's on our list. See her out there. Is that all recorded too?
Just on
Is the mic set to the out? Speakers.
Well,
Yeah.
don't give me your straps. You guys are I'm just saying, we need to be aware of this. Yeah. Well,
Either way,
I think it's
There's 19 of them. Yeah.
Tom, Laura, can you hear me?
Hi, yep, I can hear you.
We can't hear you. Computer for when you need to read it.
Yeah.
Take it all, try to small.
Oh,
That seemed to do it.
okay. Can everyone online hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Quorum.
Try me one more time, Tom.
Testing.
No,
Hello.
they can hear us.
Good, how are you? I'm cast on water.
But, you know, yeah, and you guys not really doing all the stuff and people just don't have better.
Oh, that's a good, that sounds nice. That's better than things I've heard.
Most of what you heard up here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Try it. Nothing. Volume's all the way up now. Maybe the volume was down.
Okay, can someone online say something?
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Where are you at?
Anyway, there's probably a good chance you guys won't know.
I think we're ready when you are.
All right, well, good afternoon, everybody. I guess we better get started. We're late. I think first of all, probably ought to go around the room and do introductions. Let's do in the room first, and then we'll do one.
Yes, we're.
So I guess we can start with Nick.
Nick Sampinos, Carbon Canal and local farmer.
Dino Katifas, Carbon Canal, and local part-time farmer.
Kevin Cotner, Carbon Canal.
Jaylene Malaris, Price Wellington Control Board and Farmer.
Jay Humphreys, Samuel Water Consumption District.
Mark Quilter, Utah Department of Agriculture and Food.
Rachel Schulten, the Division of Water Resources.
Bart Jensen, Jones and DeMille Engineering.
Mark Silsbeck, the Colorado River Authority of Utah.
I'm Cash Stallings. I'm with the Utah Division of Water Rights. I'm the regional engineer for the Southeast region.
Amy Dickey from the Division of Water Quality.
Yeah, I'm Bill Butcher. I'm with the Fresh River Watershed Conservation District and Fresh River Water Users Association and the local farmer. And I'm done.
You never know with Bill.
Did I forget one?
I don't know. Hi, I'm Cody Allred with Pacific Court.
Miles Nelson with Price City Public Works.
Harley Payne, Division of Water Resources.
I'm Tanner Anderson with Price City.
Kathy Sherman, Price City.
Okay, now we need to do the online folks.
Tom Moore, Water Resources.
My name is Kit Quay. I'm with NRCS.
I'm Sue Belagamba with the Nature Conservancy.
Mike, you want to introduce yourself?
I'm on, yeah. I can hear you.
Okay. All right, perfect. Okay, I think we've got plenty of people here to ensure we have a quorum, correct, Carly? I think we basically have everyone.
Russell C.
Yeah, right. Russell's not here.
Or Randy.
Randy Irwin. And Leland Pollock. Not present. Oh, yeah, Brian Peterson out of Fremont Irrigation Company. So I still think we've got enough here to ensure a quorum, so we should be good to go. So I guess at this point, we do approval of the minutes from October 7th, 2024, not 25, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Has everyone had a chance? Anyone had a chance? Do you have anything that needs to be addressed on the minutes?
Kevin, I think I have just on that last page there, that last section, the third bullet down where I was talking about these projects. The correct reference to them would be pump storage hydro projects, not pump station projects. If we wanted to make that.
On the bottom of the page,
Minor correction. It's the third bullet there on the last page, third bullet down, that last topic there. Pump storage hydro.
So it's on page 3.
Yeah.
Page 4. I got page 4.
Okay. Sorry. Mine's page 3, but I printed off before. So.
What was it again, Cody? Pump storage?
Pump storage hydro project, yeah.
Okay, we'll make that correction. Anything else anyone see? Okay, guess we need a approval on it.
I move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Any comments? Okay, motion passed, they were approved. All right, public comment? All right, I guess now it's up to you, Cody. Update on Utah Watershed Council.
Okay, so I'm the representative on the state council, and I think it's important that we kind of stay in tune with what's going on at that level. And so I'll just take a few minutes to report on some of the the highlights of the last couple of meetings from the state council. There have been 2 meetings since we met on October 7th. There was one in Salt Lake City on October 9th. That was, and some of the highlights of that one, I'm just looking at the minutes here, is there was a good presentation by Marcel Shoup, who is the executive director of the Great Salt Lake Watershed Enhancement Trust. She presented an overview of that organization's mission, goals, and some of the current things they're doing. The real take-home message there was their main focus is the trust is to focus on protecting and enhancing water flows into the Great Salt Lake. And then there were 3 local watershed councils that provided reports to the state council: the Jordan River Watershed Council, the West Desert Watershed Council, and the Uinta Watershed Council. And they were all kind of similar in nature, that they're just trying to get going. This is the first report. So, we'll have to do one here in April. Our organization, or our local watershed, I'll be providing a report to the state council in April. It seems like a lot of them are just trying to get their feet on the ground, so to speak, doing some tours, things that we've been talking about as well. So it made me feel like we're in line. We're behind. We're the last council to be organized, so we're a little behind it. But I think we're headed in the right direction. There was also some discussion about legislative changes to the act itself, to the Watershed Act. And a result of that discussion, kind of a key point to this meeting, was the state committee organized I guess you'd call it a subcommittee, a legislative subcommittee that's going to be looking at language changes to the act. And that'll be a committee that we can use if we want to take a look at any legislative issues. That subcommittee is there to help facilitate them discussions and engage in the legislative work that's going on. Then the last thing I had highlighted here on that first meeting back in October was there was supposedly some Open and Public Meeting Act training. Cody, I was going to get with you before this, but there were some technical difficulties, and so then, as I remember, they just said that everybody can just take that training on their own, and it's required. The act requires this Open Public Meetings Act training for not only state council members but local council members, and so I think we ought to try to make sure everybody understands that and how they can access that training. And I think I took the training online, and then you just notify Carly probably, or who would we notify?
I think the chairs.
The chairs.
Yep, you can copy me on it.
Yeah. And so is that training provided through the website, do you know?
Yeah, there is a website where it's really simple to take it. I can send it to Kathy to send the link out, if that works for you.
So Kathy will be sending our Watershed Council a link. It's a pretty easy friendly user kind of training, but if you guys would all take a look at that and get it done and then send it over to Kevin or Kathy as well.
Yeah, copy Kathy and Carly on those. Just don't depend on me on that, please.
Yeah, and then the second meeting, the recent meeting that was held, I can report on some of the highlights there and thank you, Carly, for providing me. They haven't got any meeting minutes yet, but some of the highlights from this meeting, it was a meeting that was hosted down in by the Kanab Water Conservancy District, Mike Noel. It was a really good meeting. It was the first state meeting that wasn't held in Salt Lake. It was held remotely down in Kanab, and I think it was pretty well attended. I couldn't make it, but I heard a lot of good things about the meeting. There was 3 more councils that was on the docket to do a presentation on their reports, and that was Kanab Creek and Virgin River Council, the Sevier River Council, and then the Cedar and Beaver Councils. One of the things that led to, there was some discussion from them councils that dealt with invasive species, and the state council has an interest in making that an agenda item in their next meeting. So they're gonna, take a look and listen to some of the concerns with invasive species. There was also some discussion, these councils were asked if they seen some value in the local watershed level council. They did, most of them expressed that they're seeing value if it's initially just the value of building relationships, getting to meet people in our drainage, like this council, getting to know and understand needs and issues in the local watershed level. But there was a common interest that was expressed that they were a little lacking in direction and purpose of what are we really doing here. And I think we can probably have a little bit of sense of that same feeling of, what is it that we really should be doing, should be focusing on. And some of the feedback that the state council gave them 3 councils, a month ago down in Kanab was the 2 main purposes right now should be focusing on, I'll just read this thing. Gathering local information and rolling local information and needs up through the state council and to the legislature. And so, we need to keep that in mind as we try to function as a council. Is we really want to try to take ground level issues that we have in our basin or needs, and we push them up to the state council, and then if need be on to the legislature or wherever. That's one primary purpose, and the other one will be contributing to the state water plan. And it sounds like there's going to be more information brought out on the state water plan, but there's an initiative to, is it just redoing the existing plan, or is it creating a new plan?
My understanding is a new one, and then updating it every 5 years is what the legislature has asked.
So I'm sure we'll be asked we'll hear more about that in future meetings. So yeah, something to kind of ponder on there. There was more discussion on the Great Salt Lake. There was a discussion about the formation of the Great Salt Lake Watershed Council. If you remember there, that's the 12th council in the state, which was built into the legislation to create another local watershed council that incorporated the Great Salt Lake. The result of that discussion at the state level was that they decided to kind of push the formal development of that council off for a year and just kind of see how things look a year from now. And the biggest reason is there's already another acting council on the Great Salt Lake right now, and there's maybe some thoughts and concerns that get too many councils laid on top of each other that may not be beneficial. So I guess we'll wait and see how that all evolves on the Great Salt Lake Watershed Council. What else here? The state noted that local councils are allowed to add seats that aren't specifically stated in the legislation. For example, if you have a local need for recreation, or if there's a big groundwater use of water, we can add seats to our councils. that aren't expressly noted in the legislation, as long as we don't go over 21 members on a council. So, and then the last thing here that noted was that Director Candace Ossenyeger from the Division of Water Resources gave an overview of some recent studies that will affect some of the bills in the legislative session. And one of the studies was a water infrastructure fund study. This study looked at the role of property taxes in funding water, defining reasonable water rates, and then recommendations to have best management practices for tiered drinking water and secondary water rates. This study is available online if you guys are interested in looking at that, or you can go back and watch the meeting recording from January it's on the website as well. So with that, that's the main points of the last two state watershed councils. Like I said, the next one's scheduled for April 10th. And we will probably, later on in the agenda, when we go to set our meeting time, we probably ought to consider meeting prior to that one, since we're going to be trying to put together a report similar to the other councils that have given them. So, and then they've also scheduled out the other meetings for the year for those that are interested. There'll be one in July, the 10th of July, and then another one on October 7th. So, and that, Kevin, that's all I have as far as just the recent happenings at the state watershed council level.
Good. Thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate all the information. Appreciate you being in that position for us, taking the time to do that.
Yeah.
I think you represent us well. You have in the last up there. You've done extremely well for us. We do need to get together prior, like you said, and get this put together on what we want to present at this one.
Yeah, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Cody, you mentioned a legislative subcommittee being formed, or?
Yes. Yeah, and it's in the
name. Does it have a name?
It's in the minutes of the October 9th meeting. I don't know that
Does not have.
they put a name on it. I believe Warren Peterson moved for a committee, and Ricky Browning seconded the motion. However, for the clerk, Vice Chairman Brown clarified that the proposed motion was for Chairman Paxman to appoint a standing committee from this council to address 3 suggested changes to the Watershed Councils Act, and to also serve to provide input and counsel during the 25 legislative session. But there wasn't any, Chair Paxman appointed himself, Warren Peterson, Mark Strafford, Laura Briefer, Mike Noel, Marshall Sue, Ricky Browning, and a staff member from the Division of Water Resources to serve on the committee. So they actually listed all the names on the committee, but I don't think they have a name.
Do they have meeting dates, or?
It's not a super formal committee. So it's just basically a subgroup of state watershed council members who, when the need arises, they'll meet together and discuss how they want to interact with the legislature. So there are no meeting dates on the record right now.
So it's a subcommittee of
the watershed council. Yeah, not of
the
the legislature.
Okay.
Yeah. And kind of what prompted that, Mark, from my perspective, was there was 3 or 4 state meetings that had been held, and in various meeting minutes, there was bits and pieces of suggestions that we should look at that language in the act and see if it needs to be changed or modified. And Sterling Brown made a point that we really need to capture these and be more organized and proactive on addressing these suggestions in these meeting minutes. And so the initial task, I think, was for them to look at them 3 specific items in past minutes about modifying the act. And then it broadened the looking at bills and anything else that ties the legislature and the state water council together.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
So we know if they're interacting with the legislature at this time? Is there any-
I don't. I'm sure they are with that group of people that's listed. They're pretty much up there all the time, but I haven't heard any specifics.
They decided not to recommend any changes to the Watershed Councils Act, which was what they had formed to do originally, just because they felt like councils can, like, one of the recommendations was add seats, like recreation, and they said, well, councils can already add seats if they want to, so they decided not to push forward anything about changing the Watershed Councils Act, but they are opening it up to local councils if you want to say, hey, we want to push this to the legislature, that they're willing to listen to you and see.
So that's our opportunity to have some communication with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, thanks again, Cody.
Yep.
Appreciate that. Okay, council membership. We still have some vacancies, and at this point in time, I would like to propose that we have Jaylene Morris join our council as a representative to fill one of the vacancies. Jaylene did voice a little bit of concern, but then the willingness to come and participate with us. I think it would be a good fit. She's agreed to do it. So I would like to make that proposal. If anybody's got any objections to it, I think we need to address it right now. If not, move forward. Anything else?
Does that require a motion?
Probably,
I would move to, assuming you agree with what Kevin just said, you're interested in it. Yeah, it'd be a good.
I just thought Bill's the one that knows me, that's what Bill doesn't say, I'm crazy, or, I think outside the box.
What's it worth?
Hey, I gave you 2 coffee cups and 2 servants, so.
Okay.
And is there a specific seat that we're looking for, or water users at agriculture? Or?
Ag, and she's representing the control board,
Price one.
Okay.
control board.
Well, I move to
Watershed.
to our roster and our council.
What's that?
I move to go ahead and add her. I make a motion to add Jaylene to the council.
Okay, perfect.
I'll second that.
Okay, we'll do a second on it. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Hi.
Come on, Sue.
Sorry.
Or a late supporter. I would like to
Thank you, maybe you were trying to talk that.
Last name?
Sue, who's that?
Okay, motion passed.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for being willing to serve here, so we appreciate that.
And do we have her contact information and stuff?
Yes, Cody has everything, so.
Before you leave, let's just make sure we've got it all.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't want to lose track.
All right, thank you.
Do you know what our number is now for total membership?
I just counted, I think that puts you at 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
20, okay. So again, I feel that we still need someone from the southern portion of our group. I know here recently, Kerry reached out and said that he's spoken with the Leland.
Yeah, I think
He's
Leland's
agreed.
already on here.
Yeah, so apparently he's solid now for sure, but we still have one that I feel should be addressed from the southern portion of this group. So if Kerry can pursue that in the future, I know he's not available. He had some surgery, I think he told us, so. When he gets back in the loop, maybe we can, and if anyone else has suggestions, we're open to them for sure. We never did end up with anyone out of Green River, is that correct?
We got Randy Irwin on there, but he's never come to the meeting, has he?
And he is Green River.
Yeah. Green River Canal Company.
Okay.
Did somebody already reach out to Cody, huh? I think right name there. He's with
Cody.
Cody, huh?
Right.
So, what do you think, Josh? You might know better.
Yeah, it's hard to say, it just depends on who you want representative, you could talk to other members of Green River Canal Company's board. Randy is the president, but there are other members of the board. Colby's a user on Green River Canal. He's been a president in the past, but he's not currently. You gotta kind of stay on this side of the river, for our boundaries, so you don't have too many options. You know, you only, what I'm saying is you only get half of the users in Green River, if you're on this half of the river. So, but it would be nice to get someone from Green River. There's plenty of water use there, and I really like Kevin's idea of trying to get someone down south too, so they don't feel like it's too Carbon County heavy or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's the purpose behind this. It's a large one, and we did talk initially about, it is so large, it's hard, and it's always gonna be a challenge to represent the whole thing, because it's a long way away, and we don't have a clue about down there, and they really don't have a clue about up here, but it is what it is, so we need to try and fill up with a variety of people, so we can do the best we can with what participation we have to represent everyone. And the basic idea behind all of it is really basic, it's water, so we all get that part of it, it's just certain applications, I guess, is the main thing behind it. So I don't know how to go about reaching out and discovering any other folks. I don't know the process, how to do that, to be honest with you.
We can, honestly, we've got some at least for people in Green River, we got some contacts information at least for people, you guys could reach out and see if there's someone who wanted. So Carla, we could help on that end. But once you start getting out of my region and down to the other ones, I mean, I could ask some of our other regional engineers that cover the more southern half of your guys' boundary and see if they've got some contact information, at least people to ask. Who knows if they'll say yes or no, but
right.
I could look into that.
That would be helpful, and then if you, whatever information you get, if you can pass it on to Carly,
Okay.
that would be fantastic.
So Kevin, did you say Kerry Cook is gonna recommend somebody, or?
Well, he had recommended, he said he'd spoken with Leland,
Oh,
Right.
but I thought there was someone else down there, but I just don't remember.
because he would be the logical person to call.
He definitely would.
Right, but he's never come to a meeting,
Right.
or Leland hasn't, but yeah, Carrie might know some people, or Cash, that would be great if you could ask her.
Yeah.
And maybe Mike, maybe Mike would.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mike, what's your thoughts?
Are you talking about Leland Pollock?
Yes.
He's my brother-in-law. I don't know if you knew that or not. So,
No.
I mean, by marriage only, okay? Leland and I are good friends. So, down in this area, we've got, we have the Lake Powell, and we have water rights actually in Green River too. The Kane County Water District does. We've got a significant amount of water rights in there, but those are pretty well set to go to the Lake Powell pipeline. So I don't know, maybe a county commissioner here, one of our county commissioners.
Yeah, again, if you've got some ideas or some information, if you pass them along to us and pass them along to Carly, we're open.
Okay.
We need to get some more representation down there for sure.
Yeah, well, I'll work on it with Carly. We're kind of at the end of the ditch here, so whatever we don't get goes to California and Arizona and Nevada. So we want to get as much representation as we can. And Lake Powell Pipeline is still a major project in King County and Washington County. They have almost 100,000 acre feet in Lake Powell. Maybe I should talk to Zach or someone over there at the Washington County Water District. I'll get with Carly on it though.
Okay, perfect. Perfect, okay. Well, thanks for your input on that. We look forward to some information. We'd like to try and get this filled before our next meeting, I think would be helpful for us. All right. I guess, review and discuss the, interactive watershed map and the ongoing project.
So that was the map you guys asked Tom Moore online to make of the watershed. And I think he's on here if you guys have questions about it. Let's see, maybe I can just pull it up.
Do you want me to share my screen?
Yeah, that might be better, so you can zoom around while you talk about it.
All right. All right, so can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, I just wanted to put some general information on the map for y'all so you could zoom around and kind of explore your areas. So, you know, this is the basin and the black line that this council represents. So, you know, west side of Colorado. And then, you know, over here, you know, you can see this is the lower basin, right? So Kanab and the area to the west is of the Virgin River. But yes, so on it, I included some of the major streams, which are in the dark blue. And then in the light blue are some of the larger canals and pipes. So you can see how water is being distributed and where it's being distributed. This is you know, it certainly doesn't contain all of the canals and pipes. There's been some newer ones. Some are shown to canals, they're actually pipes. But just gives you a general idea of distribution. And then we have, these aren't exact, these are irrigation canal companies, or sorry, service area boundaries. So this gives you a general idea of where there's irrigated agriculture happening. It covers most ag. I think if you're down by, it's missing some ag by Hanksville, but in general, that shows you where agriculture is in the basin. Then we've got some secondary system boundaries, so you can see where secondary water is being used in the basin. And then we have our municipal boundaries. So yeah, and then and then reservoirs. But yeah, it's just meant for a tool so you can explore and look around your basin. Any questions?
Yes, Thomas, does everybody have a copy of this? Or is this an email, or we're not ready to do that? I would like a copy. This is Jaylene, I'm new, and I would like a copy of that at some point in time, please.
Yeah, we can send this out. It's public, but we could send the link back out. And, you know, we can add things or change things also.
Okay, thank you.
So, hey, Tom, this is Cody. I think you did a really good job pulling this together, at least as an initial attempt here. This is kind of what I had in mind. It's kind of hard for us having this big of an area to just get around and generally see. To me, it was very informative. I couldn't even have told you what all the main streams were in this basin. And I spent some time the last couple of days looking at this map, and it was a really nice tool. I think it's a nice tool. I had a couple of questions, Tom. Is there different layers? Could you overlay like county lines on this as well?
Did we all get this link? You know?
I believe so. It was sent out
It was
shortly
a
after the last
while
meeting.
ago, though.
It was probably in.
Let's make sure we resend it again if you would, Tom. Let's get it out to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can send it out again. Yeah, county lines would be really easy to add.
Is it possible maybe to put a link to it on the UDR, on the Watershed Council's page associated with this council? Where you've got agendas, meeting minutes, or now is that too much?
I will ask.
Probably just like a collect all for everything, all the information.
Yeah, I'll definitely ask them.
And then I was kind of wondering, as I was scrolling through this, is could we build it like an index or some kind of a listing that says, in our area, we serve agriculture, and either have a listing of all the different irrigation companies, so that, if we ever want to tell our story of who are we, what are we, what's our watershed council look like? And, it's made up of irrigation companies, and there's some municipal users, industry, the two big power plants, it's an area that certainly uses all of them sources of water. I don't know if we can get as detailed of approximately X number of acres are irrigated on this council footprint. But I just wondered how much information is on this interactive map in the way of you could build a list or, numbers to the picture, so to speak.
And I have another question. I see that it obviously goes down to Kane County. Where does it start?
I think it starts at the watershed divide in the book list. If you look at that dark line there, it's just north of, Price. I'm guessing that's the watershed divide between the Uinta Basin and.
Okay, so the top river right there, is that the Price River,
Yes.
Oh, okay.
starting at Schofield?
Yeah.
It looks like it goes back up into White River, White River drainage is in the top of the map.
Yeah, so sorry, so sometimes you have to. Well, and so there's two questions I need to answer. Let me remember to go back to it first, but that's Price River, and this is the White River. And then it comes down and right, this is the Green River.
So does our council take in the east side of Green River, all those farms that are on the east side of the Green River?
I think they said west.
Yeah, it's split by the
But the way you got it drawn right there.
Zoom in there, Tom, if you could. Zoom into Green River. See that? What is that? Why is our council?
All those pivots.
But all the pivots are not in there. That's municipality boundary, county.
It is,
Is that why that funky notch
Yeah,
is
they're
there?
following the county line instead of the watershed.
Yep.
It really should be, I guess, I think it should be the watershed. It's not split the two.
So is the river the boundary?
Well, that's what we wondered, is the river the actual boundary, or is that county line right there the boundary?
right. So there's something. It's a little strange right there, right? It follows the Green River municipal area right there.
Amber County annexed that from Grant County.
Yeah. So that's in our watershed council area right there.
Well,
It isn't, but that's within our boundaries, okay. I'm just curious.
And so I just wanted to also, to a previous question for information. So that, I guess some of that would be a request from our water resources team. Like that map, you can get some of that information. But for example, for agriculture, the service areas are sometimes bigger, are much larger than what is actually irrigated. So, but we also have a water related land use data set where we can get that breakdown of information. But we could also from that map, you could say, these are all of our major canal companies. And you can say these are our municipal areas. But then as far as like industry goes, that would be other information also. So the map doesn't have everything on it.
I think it would be kind of nice to build a little factoid sheet that's kind of talking to the map. If we were to, you know, and perhaps even when I do our first report, we can talk about that we're building this interactive map of our council. And it would be nice to be able to say, like I said, this is who we are. We serve, you know, X number of major irrigation companies in this area. There's X number of municipal service areas. There's industrial use here, here, and here. You know, square miles, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I know a lot of that is behind the scenes on these interactive maps, and maybe we can start pulling something like that together.
I'm sure this is a dumb question, but so the pivots that were on the east side, are they in a watershed council or they're not represented
Yeah,
at all? They are.
I mean, technically, if you use the line as the boundary, they would be in the, I think they call it the Southeast Colorado River watershed. Maybe it is for Jolene's benefit and others, there's a map, there's a statewide map that the act produced a map that shows every council in the state. The whole state's covered by a council, a local council. I believe there's 11 of them. There it is. Good job, Cardi.
See if I can get that bigger.
So you can see ours is generally created by the Green River to where it meets up with the Colorado River, and then the Colorado River defines the eastern boundary of ours all the way down to and through Lake Powell to Glen Canyon Dam. And then, of course, the very bottom's the state line. And then it goes back up in a northerly direction that I believe is kind of just the watershed drainages on that mountain ranges all the way up through Dixie National Forest and Manti LaSalle, and then connects back up maybe around the White River area somewhere. But that's our boundaries. But you can see all of the other council boundaries as well on this map. There's 11 of them.
Basically, everything that makes it Lake Powell. On the west side of the river.
And they took the entire southeast corner of Utah and made it either the West Colorado watershed or the East Colorado watershed.
So Tom's duties in our office have changed, and he's no longer really participating with this area anymore. And that's actually why Rachel's here, is she's the new person from our office for this area. So he just agreed to hop on here and go over the map as a favor. But if you guys like wanted to, you know, create a committee to get together and really look at it, decide what you want on there, what's really missing, I think that sounds like that would be a great use of your time, especially if you want to present it to the State Watershed Council.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what we're going to present. What we're going to present. We haven't done any
I think
tours.
an inventory of what we have would be a great idea.
Yeah.
It really would.
The division would support, we would be able to help you with creating a GIS map of that, and then also PDFs of it, you know, shape files of it, if you have your own GIS folks to work on it. But that's a service that we do offer to our folks.
And we could build some sort of an index, a breakdown of water uses and users in the area and stuff.
Yeah.
I would love to. I would be a part of the committee to do that, because I think it would be a really good part of our first report to the state council, and in the theme of just trying to learn and understand, you know, our area and our users and everything. Once we have a solid base map, it'll be really a good tool for us to try to identify, okay, what are our needs, or what do we want, you know, what projects and where are they at. And for those that, and I think we all, to some extent, have a lot of unknowns about this whole big area.
It would give us all
that
better
map,
insight.
we'd probably use the crap out of that map.
You know, Cody, I'm willing to help you. I don't know that I'd be any help, but I'm willing to help you.
Yeah.
Okay,
You
here's
have my
another one.
number.
Be on the committee then.
And you have my number, so I'm willing to help, but I don't know that I
I think Cash was gonna volunteer too.
I don't know if I was gonna volunteer, but I did want to make a comment. I think this is a really good idea to get an inventory and be able to display what you have in an interactive and easy way to do it. I do find it interesting though, I mean, the Division of Water Rights right now is already taking really big strides to generate that, between, with all that that's going on in the Water Right Network right now. So for example, it's the best build out across the Uinta Basin, but they're very actively building it out in Carbon and Emory County right now. But we're mapping every active ditching canal that's there. And then we're also generating maps that are doing an inventory, Cody, to get that idea of in the Colorado River Basin, and we could narrow it down. We could put a watershed council overlay over, it wouldn't be a big deal. But what we're trying to say is there's this many irrigated acres. And of that many irrigated acres, there's this much of it that's the water being sent to it is metered versus is not. And so, and we use a lot of data sets that Water Resources even provides to get at that irrigated acre inventory. And then years ago, the legislature funded a project where we did a canal inventory to generate the canals that are in the area, and we're kind of building off of that. So I don't want to say there's duplicate efforts because that makes it sound like I'm not in support of the project. But what I'm trying to say is as you're building that map and as Water Resources assists in that effort, I think the Division of Water Rights could provide a lot of information that we've already gathered that could go into your map as a collaborative effort.
Yeah, that canal layer is your layer. And yeah, there's some areas where the water right network is built out much more, but eventually that will be a much better layer to use.
So it seems like you need to have Kane and Garfield involved in that discussion. I don't know who you get on that committee to help to identify all those resources.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when we were talking about another council member. I was like, really, we need, and then I can, like I said, I can talk to people in the division. You kind of need someone to help speak up for that, like Boulder, Escalante
Exactly.
area, to speak up for them and the water users in there and help us piece together whatever's going on. Yeah.
I think Carrie could be some of assistance on that and hopefully guide, direct us for someone else, you know. Okay, so we've got two people right now on the committee. Cash is committed. I'm committed. He's gonna pass on information.
And I don't think it's gonna be a heavy lift, this committee. It's mostly just reviewing the map and coming up with ideas of what enhancements. I mean, this is gonna be a working tool, you know, a tool that can be modified every time we meet. So it's not like we've got to develop a final product and bring it to this group, but it's just it'll be a continuous, you know, project, an ongoing.
But we should get the ball rolling,
Right.
and then at least we've got something else to present at the state level.
Kevin, it's Sue online. I would be on that committee if you guys want me to be.
There you go.
Yes.
Thanks, Sue.
That would be great.
Thank you, Sue.
Maybe what we'll do in the coming weeks is get together a teams meeting and get this committee together and just start talking about it or keep talking about it.
Okay.
Sure, and I can come up to Price. Today just wasn't convenient, so.
One thing that I might suggest is we've used story maps in the past for if you're trying to tell the story of what the Watershed Council is about, and you want to list entities that are in it, the users. You can do graphs. You can do different things like that using a story map inside of our GIS. And what it does is you can set it up in a way that's very convenient for people to look at and read. But then within the web page, it's got the interactive map that you see. You can link that right in there, so you can just hover over it and zoom in and out, all while having the information you're looking for on the site here in tabs. If you want to see who belongs, you know, all those different things. So I guess as we work on that, that's one option you can use that they call the GIS story map.
Thanks for volunteering to the committee part.
I'm not a GIS guy. I've got guys that are really good.
You're sly, Cody.
No, honestly.
There you go, you got a folder, huh?
I'm one of the dummies that can push slide forward or slide back. I have no idea how it ever would come to life.
Well, you gotta get it all
That's
dialed
exactly
in
what I-
and send it to me, because I'm the guy that's gonna look at it last.
Yeah, honestly.
Okay.
So Bart, are you suggesting you would do that county by county and then have it all together, or how?
You could do it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do it, the sky's the limit, depending on how you divide it up, but, and I can show you an example of the story map, on the computer at some, even after the meeting, just kind of show you what it looks like, rather than just a map that you zoom in and out of, there's a lot more possibilities, and opportunities to display information.
And would you be able to integrate the work that's already done, where we're at now, or?
Oh, yeah, yeah, I think so. Like I said, I'm not a GIS expert by any means, I just use it often. But the thing I don't know is if the capabilities of the water resources, if they're gonna house it like they've been doing and kind of spearhead that. It's all part of Esri's deal, so I think it's definitely possible. We just need to kind of have a vision of what it would look like.
We have not done a ton of story maps. We have done a few. I think some that I've seen from other places are more polished maybe than the ones that we've done, but we're familiar with them. We can house them.
Okay.
We can work with both water rights with you guys about building that, about what you guys would like to see. And then I think it can be a shared link. Cash, is this true? Can from water rights from your stuff, can they see a story map that's housed by you,
You know, I don't know,
URGC?
I don't know that we've done a lot of story maps, but like, we probably could. I mean, bottom line, anything that we produce, like even the whole water right network data sets right now, we have up on UGRC, right? So anyone can
Yes,
download them
yeah.
and put them into a map, and so like, if water resources were to house the data set that we're trying to create here, they could probably house it, but they'll be able to pull from UGRC to build whatever we need to build.
And I think that's true. So anything that we built collectively or individually, you could pull from URGC by, so.
Well, certainly,
So you can bring that all into one platform.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking for, right?
Yeah, and I'd recommend maybe we kind of don't try to shoot for every bit of detail to start with, like exactly how many acres are being irrigated and exactly how many meters. That stuff would be great, and I can see that it could be plugged in. To start with, it would be just nice to have a general 30,000 foot level. This is who we are.
An overview.
Yeah,
Yes.
and then we can plug in, these are the issues we've identified, the projects that we're interested in, the help we need to do these projects, things like that.
And that would more than suffice for purposes of your meeting
Oh, yeah.
with the state people.
Yeah, and I see the true value of this is just a working tool for us. Every
Yeah.
time we sit down and want to talk about things, I think that thing, we can just wear it out.
Okay.
Since we can't get in a pickup and just drive conveniently to any given
Right.
place at any given time. honestly.
Yeah, we've got to use technology on
Yeah.
this because, the other option isn't that good for most people, so. Okay, perfect.
Good, we'll keep working on that. It's turned into more than I even thought when I suggested last meeting.
I think we've kind of gone into the next agenda item already on the roundtable on the discussion, but let's just continue to keep moving forward. But this was a big part of it, I think, or part of it anyway, for sure. So do you need to create a list of future agenda items, presentations, tours, discussions? Thoughts, comments from anyone on agenda items? Cody?
Well, I do think it would be valuable to schedule a few tours, a couple tours, maybe a northern tour and a southern tour. And it might take it more than a year to do them. Maybe we can do one early summer and one late summer. You'd just have to pick one or two areas to go to because you just can't be able to get very far in a day. But I like the idea of tours. It seems like all the other councils have kind of went out and looked, got their feet on the ground. So I still think that the tour would be good, a summer tour.
Okay.
That's my thoughts.
So a couple of our big projects, at least here in the northern area, we've got the Lower Basin Reservoir. And that's coming along nicely. I mean, we're nearly the end of the EIS on that. So that's someplace we could take a tour of, we could go and look at where we're gonna put the dam and whatnot. And we got the Olson Reservoir project, which was recently funded by that B2E, if that money ever actually materializes. So there's another place that we could look at.
Those are great ideas, Bill.
Who else has got stuff?
That's why we need Garfield and Wayne County to come in.
Yeah, and we could schedule another tour down there.
Right, Carrie's gonna have to put some input in on that, on Michael, so, yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to go down there.
In 3 or 4 hours, you can make the loop, the energy loop almost, and go, if you want to go see Schofield and on up around, the headwaters of the Huntington Canyon and then down past the power plant and the Joe's Valley and the mill site. You could do a roundabout tour in a half a day if you wanted to.
We could show some of the non-point source project work on Mud Creek above Schofield, if that's of interest.
About the oh-so-famous Emory County Conservancy District stuff that you are getting ready to retire from.
Well, yes, sir.
I hear that it's magnificent. A tour of that would be amazing. Everybody says it's just fabulous.
Well, if we did a tour of our Lower Basin Reservoir, it'd be great to go past Adobe Reservoir, which is basically what inspired
So it's basically the same concept.
it.
Yeah, and, we could stop at 1 or 2 selected locations where Jay does a lot of these, SCADA stuff and repeaters, and just to let people kind of see how that really looks and really.
That would be great.
So I think a tour would be good, or 2. But yeah, we would need some expertise and some help on doing something similar down south. And I would love to go down and do that and spend
I
a
would
day
too.
looking in the lower part of our
Or even if it was a
basin.
couple of days. I don't know, it's a long drive. It might take us 2 days. I don't know.
But if we can really focus on trying to get a map for the next meeting, the April meeting, then we can use that map to understand where we want to go see, what features we want to see. So maybe the next meeting, we can schedule a tour, the details of the tour for a midsummer meeting.
Any other thoughts on agenda items? Anything you'd like to see?
Just have a quick question. Are the councils allocated any funding for project workers for that? Like contracting out development of story map, for example?
Unfortunately, no.
Oh, okay.
Pretty much no funding. The Division of Water Resources has offered to fund 1 tour for each council. So like, if you were going all the way down south and you needed lunches and, mileage or stuff like that. But unfortunately, there's not really any money. Yeah.
I have a question on the tours, just to get it clear in my mind. You mentioned the 2 up here that are not under construction. One we think is funded. Are the tours designed to go see what things that are done, or go look at things that might happen? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think anything, all the above, it's kind of whatever we would want to do or see. Initial tours would probably be a lot of value in just going out and seeing what's currently there, some of the reservoirs and pipe systems, diversions, infrastructure. And to me, the most efficient thing would just to kind of make a path and then try to find things that's worth stopping and seeing along that path. And start with that. Could be a proposed project site, or it could be a reservoir that's been there since the 1960s that's important to our drainage. So I think we can do it however we want, being okay.
Okay, any other thoughts, comments on that?
So build that schedule at the April meeting when we have the map in front of us. That's what you're thinking?
I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I mean, I don't think we want to put too much on our plate
Right.
to start with. If we can spend some quality time between now and our April meeting and have a more polished map and, this, however you guys, a story map, we could roll that out to the council and go through that and then say, okay, let's pick a date and let's tentatively, get a tour route picked. We could do that in April and maybe do the tour in midsummer when it's nice, nice weather. We can see all that snow melting and flowing into the reservoirs and stuff like that.
Well, I think we'll have plenty of
We
time.
can do that next week.
Who said we needed to be in a hurry to watch the snow melt? Oh, yeah, I forgot. Sorry.
Yeah, we better get up there next week if we want to see that.
I have something, Kevin.
Yes.
While you guys are talking about future agenda stuff. Cody sort of touched on the state council, talking about the state water plan and how the local councils are gonna be involved with that. She actually hopped online. Stephanie McGinnis is the new state water plan manager. So she's wanting to get on all the local councils' upcoming agendas to sort of go over the outline of what the plan's gonna look like, get all of your feedback, see what your thoughts are on it, and then go over more like what kind of input we want from you guys. So is that something you're willing to have on a future agenda?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, Stephanie, if you want to introduce yourself and whether you would rather do it early April or early summer.
Sure. Thank you, Carly. I apologize for hopping on a little bit late, but I did just want to introduce myself. I've been with the division now as the new state water plan manager for about a month. And yeah, as Carly mentioned, I would love to come down and meet with you all in person if I can make that work and just talk to you all about what we're sort of thinking for the outline of that state water plan. And like Carly mentioned, I would just love to get your input, your feedback, your thoughts on that. And that's something that I could send out, a little bit, a week or two ahead of our meeting so that you all have some time to kind of marinate on that and think about what your comments might be. Yeah, anytime is great. I think the sooner the better, but certainly, what might be easiest is to just tack it on to, I don't know if that's possible with a tour to take some time to do that, or if you'd like to have a separate meeting to discuss the state water plan.
How about if we could give an agenda item for the April meeting to at least, get it out on the table?
Yeah, I think that'd be fantastic. I don't know if it's possible to maybe just carve out 30 minutes or so to chat about it. I don't want to take up that whole meeting, but I would love to start just getting this process rolling and getting your thoughts.
What do you think, Kevin?
Yes, I think that would be an idea.
Since in the minutes, the state council said you have two main things to think about.
Yeah.
One of them was the state water plan. You probably got to put it on our
I
agenda.
think we better have it, yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Stephanie.
Yeah, thank you all.
Thanks for your time. So when is this?
Next meeting. I think we'll get to it in the agenda. There's an agenda item, we'll set that.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what was the last name, Stephanie's last name?
McGinnis.
And Kevin, I don't know if it would be interesting to the council at all, but if you guys ever wanted a presentation from the Division of Water Rights, not so much for me, you all have to hear enough from me already, but I could have someone from like our data services section come down, who's the Water Right Network team, and they're doing a bunch of work in Carbon and Emory County right now. Or if there was any other sections of the division that the council feel like, hey, we need to understand this better, or we need to understand funding that the division has better, or anything like that.
I love that idea.
Just let me know, and I would try to arrange for someone to be here if there are any topics that the council thought would be helpful.
Perfect.
Yeah, let's add that on our list. I think for the April meeting, if we allocate 30 minutes for the state water plan and at least that much for the map, and then maybe we need to have an agenda item just to talk about the presentation that I'll be given, a week or two after that at the state meeting. That's probably a pretty full meeting.
Yep. We good with that? Everyone? Okay. There we have our agenda items for the next meeting. And in the future, we definitely want.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a member of the council. I'd be really interested to hear a presentation from UDAP sometime about how AGOT feels after they decide whatever projects they're gonna award. It'd be interesting to see in your boundary, your watershed council, how many projects went through and what type of projects they were. That would be interesting.
I can get that for you.
Kathy, are you kind of documenting some of these ideas?
Yeah, I was gonna say, and not, doesn't all have to be next time, but just ideas,
We
somewhere down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere down the road.
Yeah, we're supposed to meet quarterly, so we'll, this takes care of the first quarter and we meet in April, and we can meet more times than quarterly.
Yeah, for that quarter off, you probably want to wait after April because they just are opened up right now for their applications.
And there's the recent rolling out of the Utah Demand Management Pilot Program, and I think we have a meeting Thursday to talk about projects there, and so there might be something worth putting on the agenda for next meeting as well on demand management.
Or maybe the Colorado River Authority issues in general. Mark has a presentation that he's.
We always have a lot to talk.
Yeah. Outreach is a priority, right, Mark? So this is a good.
Everybody needs to see Mark's presentation. Absolutely.
Good, you're getting a bunch of ideas for future meetings.
And I apologize, can we go back? I didn't write your name down when we were going through on introductions, but I
I'm
definitely want to
Rachel,
know.
Rachel Shilton.
Okay.
And it's SHILTON.
Okay, thanks, Rachel. And so is Rachel, is she a liaison with the DWR now in place of Tom, or what's your?
If that's okay, I guess that would be up to the council. Tom was a liaison from Water Resources. Rachel is now filling his role and sort of being more active in this area.
So I think that's the direction we need to move.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Yep. Another tool at our disposal, that's what we need. So, okay, perfect. Okay, open time for other items from the council.
Chairman, I have
Yes,
just
sir.
one announcement. The Colorado Rivers and Salinity Control Program is trying to get a no-thaw out from reclamation this year. We're hoping to have it out in March, but the new presidency has frozen everything. But if anyone has interest in that, they can get with me and we'll get you on the list to make sure you get information about it. They would like to see more applications come. The last time they presented it 3 years ago, and they only had 15 applications come in, and they weren't able to use all the funds that they had, so.
That's salinity reduction.
Yeah, the salinity control program, so it'd have to be places that haven't received. I mean, there has to be new salinity controls, so anyway. I know Carbon Canal is probably the biggest one down here that could benefit from that program, so. But just want everyone aware of it, so if they are interested, they can start doing plans to get ready, and hopefully that announcement will come out soon.
Good, well, thank you, Mark.
Yeah. You guys pretty much have everything.
Mark, I'm curious, do you have, off the top of your head, do you have general numbers about what percentage, going clear back through the history of the forum and all the salinity projects that have been put in, how far down the road are we as a state?
So Emory County, I think I don't think there's anything in Emory County can be treated anymore.
We're 100%.
Carbon Canal is the biggest one, and that's the biggest one left in the state. There are a lot of projects in Inland Basin, but we have issues because a lot of them are on Indian land and also use Indian water, and they're not very excited about piping that water. And then we do have individual farms, of course, that can be treated too.
So some of these smaller communities in our region down here, on the Fremont and Are all them in the area where they're eligible?
They are,
Right? How-
well, the program's basin-wide, but the issue is you have to be able to have salt numbers so you can get a cost per ton.
Right.
And that's the biggest hangup. They have done work in Tropic. That's had a basin-wide program where we pipe a lot of the pipe in Tropic area. Escalant's already done. And in fact, most people in southern Utah are already sprinkling. They don't have enough water to do anything else, so.
They just don't have the salts down there that we have up in this area.
Well, they've already, when they put systems in, they went to sprinklers a long time ago. Because their water is so scarce.
I see.
That's the only way they could get over their land was to sprinkle, so. Like Hanksville, Loa, all those places, they went in really early.
I see.
And we really don't want to get into replacements. But anyway.
We don't want to see that either. We want Carbon Canal. That's what he's talking about.
I know Carbon Canal filed before, and I'm still really upset over that, over one stupid little piece of paper. The administration's changed, and I don't think that'll happen again. I think, so, anyway.
Okay, well, thanks for all that information, Mark. We do need to keep that on the radar for sure. Okay, any other comments, thoughts? Can you talk about anything else? Okay, just for the point that we need to schedule the next meeting, time and location. So we definitely have to have it before the April 10th, correct?
Yeah, it'd be nice to have build a little time there to
Right.
get some feedback from the council.
So, I'll do it at the very end of March. That'd be better.
How technical is it on the quarterly stuff?
It just says 4 times a year.
4 times a year, not
Yep.
quarterly, okay.
So it's not specific to the quarter.
I mean, they recommend roughly quarterly, just, keep it
Give
going.
yourself some time, maybe go like in March.
Yeah, the week of the 24th, how's that look for people?
I think we just set a date and then, try to make it work, right?
March 24th?
What day of the week is that?
That's a Monday.
That's a
It's a
Monday.
Monday.
Monday? Could we do Tuesday?
Tuesdays work better, Mondays are always.
Mondays are kind of a,
March the 25th then?
here I am complaining about what they were making.
That's fine, just the Colorado River boys.
25th?
25th, we have a board.
Okay,
So
that's
what
out,
about the
yeah.
26th?
After that, we're good.
26th.
26th?
That's a Wednesday?
That's
Yeah.
a Wednesday.
Perfect, okay. Everybody agreeing on that somewhere?
You thinking 1 PM again?
Yes.
If that works for those that are traveling.
Here, yes, this is a good, if Price City is willing to let us use this facility, it works. Okay. So I guess, okay, we got that part of it dealt with. So now we need to decide on, do we want to schedule the rest of the year out, or what do we want to do there? Or do we want to just address it at every meeting?
I think it'd probably be best to address it at every meeting, because we probably wouldn't have foreseen this April 10th thing coming up. Maybe we would have, but might be better just to address it every meeting.
I agree with Bill. I think we need to get a couple of these under our belt and then kind of see how it's going and
Another flow.
yeah.
Everyone good with that?
Yeah.
I think that's a logical way to do it.
So can we go back for just a second to the Wednesday meeting on the 26th? What exactly are we going to focus in on? Is that, you kind of want to have a list of things that you to present to the state council? Is that kind of what your thought is?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like I said, I think in my mind, the map.
Yeah.
Have them talk about the map and the state water plan.
Yeah.
And then the presentations, and I'll spend some time working on, it's really not, it's just an update on what we've done, so it isn't, so it's kind of just telling what we've done up to this point, so it won't be hard to put that together. It probably won't be a big fancy story at this point, but we'll just, I mean, right, Carly, that's kind of what the story is.
I mean, and you can use the time for whatever you want, but since you were brand new, it's pretty much an update on what you've been up to, so.
So we would just kind of provide an update on how many times we've met, what we're working on, what we're thinking of. So shouldn't be too bad.
Carly, how much?
I mean, 10 minutes max. Yeah. It'd be pretty easy.
I haven't heard of anything. Cody, you're gonna have this interactive map that you're gonna sell. I think you're gonna have a lot to talk about.
Yeah. If it comes together, I would probably just put the map up and have that, and tell my story, tell our story through the map and then just say, we met on October 7th and today, we've only had 2 or 3 meetings.
I think that would be a very interesting thing for them to see. The ones I listened into, that first meeting that you went to, they were on there for what, 5-10 minutes, the ones that had a presentation. It didn't take them very long. They just kind of said, we had a meeting here and a meeting there.
Yeah.
Some said we had a tour.
And we've had.
They didn't say a lot.
Yeah.
That seemed to be well received.
And, most of that happened during the late summer.
Okay. Right. We're clear on that.
Good report yet.
Okay. Anything else? Any other comments, questions, ideas?
In the ground.
We missed anything? Have I missed anything? Anyone online?
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Justify it.
Okay.
That's what we.
Guess we're at the point that someone needs to make a motion. to adjourn.
But it's expensive.
Nobody else to do it, I'll do it. Let's quit.
It's about. I'll say,
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.